right? So let's start this interactive session with one food for thought. We can have a quick discussion around it, right? And then we move forward to the agenda that we planned for the day. Awesome. So now let's go ahead. Okay. Like whenever we order from Swiggy and Zomato, I've had very less wow moments wherein I've ordered in 15 minutes, wherein the ETA is 15 minutes to 20 minutes, and it gave the food, to me in like less than the promised time, right? So it is important to understand like why this happens. Like, do these folks doesn't have a technology to identify and give us the exact time frame, right? So I want to hear like what your thoughts on this problem statement. Like, why does Swiggy or Zomato not show a near accurate delivery time, and despite knowing how to solve it, right? So many of you can start probably mentioning your thoughts in the chat, and I would also encourage, if anyone wants to have a quick discussion with me, you can raise hand, and we'll be happy to have kind of quick brain pick, right? So there's no right and wrong answers, folks. Like, it's just perspectives, and there has to be a rational to a perspective, right? So yeah, I think Suraj, I think let's wait for like 30 seconds for everyone to, let's just probably jot down their thoughts, and then we go ahead. Keep your hands raised, like just articulate your thoughts well, right, folks? What we have observed, like in the sessions, a lot of times we start to think when we unmute ourselves, right? But it's always great even in our like official meetings when we've already articulated our thoughts, and then we just like communicating it. It just like shows you a better communicator as well. So awesome. Okay, Suraj, really means a lot, but I would request more folks to raise hand and make this session, because guys, I'll be really honest, this session, you would not get any value from this session if you don't want to be engaging, because I have designed it in a way that it has to be super engaging, right? If you don't participate, trust me, we might be able to take very less value home. I will still try, because I would want to really give you back for the time that you've given us today, right? So, but I would really request, like, it's okay if you're saying wrong. That's all. Like, no one is going to judge you. No one is going to say anything, or hey, why did you give this remark, right? It's good from a participation point of view, right? Awesome. So I'll just invite, starting with Suraj. Suraj, what is your take on that? And try to summarize your answers in 30 seconds. Like, yeah, Suraj, go ahead, please. And I would also request and recommend, if anyone is comfortable turning on the video, so it doesn't look like I'm probably speaking to bunch of blank tiles, but the sessions is relatively quite engaging. Awesome. Yeah, Suraj, go ahead, please.
Yeah, hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Great. Yeah, so my take on this is that, see, nobody constantly keeps an eye on, where the delivery is at any point in time, right? It's reached a point where it's more of just a glance. Okay, this is the amount of time left. I'll continue doing my work. This is the amount of time left. I'll continue doing my work. So they can get away with showing a lesser amount of time, because then the people are already so busy with other work that for them it's just a reassurance. Okay, it's on its way. Okay, it's 10 minutes away, kind of thing. So that is my take on it. Distraction combined with reassurance, basically.
uh, Reassurance is of just that you will get the food, right, but not on time. But don't you think that results in probably a lot of anxiety, and users probably not good experience when we keep on calling customer support, hey, where the food is? Because as per my study and understanding of the Indian kind of consumers, we largely tend to order when we are almost at the brink of like getting super hungry, right? So, but yeah, think about it, Suraj. There's just a food for thought, right? But definitely
Mhm.
makes sense. And thanks for sharing your thought. Yatharth.
Hi, am I audible?
Yeah, just a small request if you are comfortable turning on the video. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So my thought process around this is, I think what they always believe is that if they show us maybe 15 minutes, even though they know it's going to take 25, the Indian customer a lot of times is willing to wait the extra 10 minutes if they don't already know that it will take 25 minutes. But if you tell them in the beginning itself that it's going to take 25 minutes, then they get more upset comparatively. Like
But then
15 and 25 is a more conservative estimate. But
what
when
you're
there's a
trying,
larger time, then
so what you're trying to say,
sorry,
Yatharth,
please
is
go
like,
ahead.
yeah, so what you're trying to say is like you show them less time, right? And then deliver late. And you're saying that that experience is not resulting into a bad experience compared to showing overall larger time at first, is it?
Yeah, that, and partially another reason that I thought might be part of this is that a lot of times there's a lot of variability in delivery times from the same place. So they try to account for that and then change the time accordingly. Like sometimes there's the driver gets stuck somewhere, or there's a rush of orders at the place you're ordering from, like the walk-in orders, and they try to
Interesting.
accommodate for that as well.
All right, makes sense. Thank you. I'll just invite Tarun finally to share his thoughts, and then we move to the session. In the interest of time, folks. Yeah, Tarun, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thanks. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So I think that the delivery time is mostly dependent on the restaurant and the delivery partner itself. So basically, it is destined to be late or earlier. It cannot depend on Swiggy or Zomato. But still, they show the lesser time because to leave an impression to the consumers, so that we get a feeling that okay, Zomato is trying its best to deliver
You're getting a
on
feeling, but
right.
aren't you like too used to that feeling? Like it's been so many times, you're just getting the same feeling and never, that is getting met. So, all right. So
I
this
agree,
is
but I guess it's more or
all right. I think Tarun, there's some internet issue at your end, but I think thanks for sharing your thought, case. So yeah, there's no probably particular answer to this, but what I can share from my perspective is like if I had to put my brain and start thinking about it, I'll just probably do a little bit of comparison. As in, if you do a let's say if you look into the Instamart, right? They if they are promising 15 minutes, largely I think they are trying to deliver within that time frame, right? But why it is not happening in Swiggy Zomato, you might have to, before probably giving an answer, might have to do a little bit of a root cause, because couple of things if you look into, if you do a comparison, let's say with Instamart, right? So in Instamart, the location from which your order is going to be picked up, mostly it is fixed, right? And the availability of the delivery partners, around that dark store is relatively high, and these the kind of the distance between the resident location and the dark store like is relatively very near, right? And these are a couple of factors which results in Instamart is probably able to adhere to the promise time a lot more than a restaurant services. In the probably ecosystem of Swiggy and Zomato, one thing we can keep in mind, this is like not like the delivery time is a component of couple of items. Like one is like how far like the delivery partner is from the restaurant from which they have to pick. That's one variable. Another variable is like the food preparation time, right? And then there is another variable of once the food is picked, right? Then probably the job of Google Maps start. Like most likely in I would say maximum scenarios or 99% of the scenarios I have noticed myself, Google Maps are almost near about accurate. But then how do they optimize on the time of like restaurant preparation and ensuring the availability around the off delivery partner around the probably well-known restaurants or the restaurants in a specific area who gets more orders, right? So probably these could be the factors we might have to go and dig deep to probably really understand whether they are doing it intentionally or this is more of a unintentional play, and we are probably trying to call it a strategy, right? So this could be a strategy, but then this is like and the strategic play could be like, I'm promising less time, but I'm delivering probably late, right? So that is just because you're promising less time, I will order it, right? But every time if I'm kind of getting the food probably let's say 20% the ETA is like off by 20%, 30%, then I might not like that experience, right? But then if you look at the available options in the market, it's like duopoly, right? There's no little options in the market, right? So even if the user has to opt out of that experience, where would they go, right? And definitely they can't go back to like every time they want to eat, they'll go to the restaurant and visit, right? So there are a lot of factors at play, and there's like duopoly, I would say, market scenarios are also giving them the advantage of probably not taking this specific problem too seriously and let it work the way it is, because users anyway got comfortable and they know it's showing 30 minutes. It'll come in 40 minutes, 50 minutes, right? So yeah, so there's a lot of things we have to chuck on the board before come to a final conclusion. But I really appreciate like all the thoughts that many of you have put in. And now let's move towards the case. All right, I think I'm just quickly looking into the chat, but you have to consider there's no other choice. Most people don't know, but for convenience, delivery times just. But then you getting the food late is like impacting your convenience, right? So it's impacting the user experience. If you're hungry, you ordered it, you said, okay, I'll manage for 25 minutes, I'll have some snacks, right? But then the food is coming in 50 minutes, like, and then food could be cold. Now, it might be not in the good condition to eat. So there are a lot of variables that comes to play. That's why there's no right and wrong answers. It's all about like why it is happening and to what extent this could be resolved. Awesome. I think good discussion. Thanks everyone for participating and sharing your thoughts in the chat. I think with that, let's move forward in the session. Okay. Now, in today's session, we're going to largely work on two tools, Miro and Miro and Jira. And product board is something I'm going to give you as an homework, right? Yes, let me scope out this session, folks, a little bit. So in this session specifically, we are not going to give you a demo of the tool, okay? What all features overall at Miro level you can access as a product manager, because that could be a proper dedicated sessions altogether. And similarly for Jira, right? So what we're going to do is like we're going to solve a problem statement, right? And then we are going to do a decent amount of brainstorming, and we might use AI to help us do I would say a lot of things better, because now AI has come in a way that definitely we have to use it to improve productivity. And then once we have identified what we need to build, then we'll go ahead and we'll go in Jira, we'll create our project, we'll create our epic. Within that epic, we'll create a feature or a story, right? So that's the agenda of the session, and looks like we've already 18 minutes ahead in the session. Let's deep dive. Okay, now let me look in the chat. On a scale of 5, how many of you are comfortable using tools we're going to cover today? And please write in the chat. And 5 means like super comfortable, and 1 means like I've not heard about it. So can you write in the chat? All right, looks like yeah, we have some comfort that's I can see. A lot of folks from the cohort from the session have probably starting it first time. All right, cool. Okay, one thing I can assure you folks, these tools are not intimidating. So even if you're like kind of seeing it first time, that's all right. Like they're pretty user friendly. All right, now let's move here. So the case that we're going to do for today is like, there are many dating apps, users match successfully. So what happens, like, let's say you want to identify a date or you want to look for a date. What you go is you download a product, and let's say in this conversation, we are going for Tinder, right? And there could be definitely a lot of scenarios wherein you don't get a match. But there are also a number of cases we've noticed emerging a lot wherein post match, like you've got a match, but there are no conversations happening after that, right? Because of which it is resulting into a lot of drop off, and users are not happy with the overall experience, which is impacting their the platform's user engagement and ultimately the retention, right? So as a product lead, you've tasked to explore why this drop off happens and share actionable solutions. Of course, these solutions has to have the foundation of discovery, and then we are going to use Jira for execution. Product board for strategy is something. I'll tell you what I meant by using product board as well, so that you know what to do in your homework, right? Awesome. So anyone has any questions on the case? If you want, I can also share the this board link to everyone once I'm done explaining this. Just give me 1 second. I'm just looking for the board link. Okay. One second. Anyone with the link can view the board link here. 1 second. Anyone has any questions on this case? Quickly read through it again. That's okay. Let's take a minute's time. That's it's very important to understand the case before moving forward. In the meantime, I'm just setting up my okay. I'll just quickly reiterate the case. The case is like we get a lot of as a Tinder product lead, while we were reviewing the matrices, across the user journey, we've identified that the number of instances of user engagement right after the match has happened, or let's say the chat interaction rate after the match has happened, have reduced drastically, right? For example, earlier after the match has happened, the almost 80% of the users were used to at least interact and used to have on an average 12 to 50 messages exchanged, right? But now that has dropped drastically to what, like 30%, 20%, right? And we have to identify why this is happening. All right, and what we're going to do is, like, we are going to look into a little bit of a discovery, and then we are going to do a solutioning of those, and we might prioritize these features using a framework. And then for the prioritized features, then we're going to look into creating user story and along with acceptance criteria. And then we are going to kind of put this into a sprint boards for our teams to execute, right? Awesome. So now let's move forward. All right, now what's next? Yeah. All right, so this is like, yeah, this is like I have here. So what you guys can do now, take a minute's time, right? Think about, put yourself in the shoes of the user, right? And try to contemplate like what could be the potential reasons after, like, once, let's say I sent a match request to like Ria, right? And Ria accepted that, right? And I since I sent it, and which is giving me a sign that, okay, Ria also want to have a conversation with me, right? And but once I went to that specific match screen, I'm seeing that, okay, there's no response coming, and I even said hi 2 times, 3 times, like keep probably poking in from one side doesn't also look good, right? So that is what is happening. And what to do in this case, right? So think about it, right? And of course, there's a scenario that many of you might not have used these applications. That's all right. So you can do two things, right? So as a product manager, before working and building any feature, right, we have to do a product discovery, right? So this is more of a product discovery exercise, wherein right now you don't have a data, you don't have time in this session to do user interviews and then figure out things. So what you can do is, like, go to Play Store reviews, right? Or yeah, and try to look at 1 or 3 or 2 rating reviews, right? And within those reviews, try to identify any users like cribbing and talking about post-match issues, right? And if you're not able to get that, then that's okay. You have GPT, right? Write a good prompt and then ask it to help you understand what could be the potential causes, and ask it to don't give you the generic, I would say, ideas, but ask it to refer it to a proper study and then give the insights, right? So let's take a minute to that, because it is going to take some time, right? So we don't want to rush it. This is very important exercise. Yeah, that's what we do as a PM on a day-to-day job, right? I'm just going to share my screen, and okay, once you've done your discovery, I'm quickly going to explain you this board. I'm going to right now duplicate it. Okay. I have it on like my different account. I'm just, I don't know, for some reason I've not received it, but that's all right. I'm parallelly figuring this out. Okay, one second. How do I duplicate it? Okay. I will probably duplicate a different board, and I'm going to show you and explain you. Just take a minute or 2 minutes time, proper time, to identify what could be the potential reasons. And these reasons could be, probably from your journey and from the persona that you're trying to target, right? So, and I will also try to pick, like, if any of you have missed pointers before get started. If you have any questions before starting this discovery, you can also raise hand. I'm happy to help you. Take a minute's time. I am going to resume this at 11:26. Parallelly, I'm figuring out how do you duplicate this board so that I'm able to edit this. If I sent a edit request, would it ask me to pay? I'll do login. Can I edit now? I don't know. Now I can duplicate. Okay. put me on mute. Okay, I'm not sure. You agree with me? All right. Okay, so I can see that some of the responses are already in the chat, right? But before looking into the responses, like one thing, see guys, as a product manager, before starting a product discovery or before someone even handles your specific charter, there is a
You are on mute.
Good. Okay, can you hear me? Oh, everyone?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. 1 second. All right. So yeah, what I was talking about, like before even starting any discovery process, before doing anything in product management, you join a team. Like then there's like probably someone's going to assign you your key responsibility areas or key result areas, wherein you definitely have to make a mark, right? And then that is something which further kind of results into you have to identify a goal, right? If you're doing this discovery, what is the goal? What is it that you want to achieve? If you look into this, probably a complete charter, like which is a post match charter, there could be bunch of things which would be happening, right? But not everything in this charter would be helping and resulting you in moving closer to your goal, right? Because at the end of, let's say, a month, when you're having the review meeting with your stakeholders, with your managers, they're going to ask question, hey, I have assigned you, I've hired you to move this metric, but this metrics didn't move. It doesn't matter if you've created like impact on other parameters, like, because that's not something which is the priority of the company, right? So before picking anything in the product management or in any charter, it's very important that we focus on what is our goal, why we are doing it, and for whom we are doing it. Because we can't be a generic product managers, and trust me, there's no term as generic product managers, and no product managers solves problem for everyone, right? So now first let's look into in this specific problem statement, that the goal is like we want to improve overall user experience, and which would further result in increasing engagement on the platform. And if an engagement is increasing, which is like the input variable for retention, then our retention would also overall increase, right? So that is the premise we have to act upon, like because when we will move to the prioritization, guys, please be on mute. Hey, please. Okay. So yeah, now because when we do the prioritization, we have to kind of look at least as impact as one of the parameter, right? And impact in prioritization has to be associated with your goal. If you don't know what you're trying to impact or improve, probably the features that you're going to build on, they might be super great for users, but might not help you from a business point of view, right? Awesome. All right, now let's move ahead. So I'll quickly explain you the user segment that, okay, this is Kachni. Okay, let me change the name to Himanshu. Okay, this is like better name. So this is a persona for whom we are trying to solve the specific problem. So we are trying to solve it for Himanshu. Himanshu lives in Mumbai. He's a 26-year-old male marketing professional, slightly introvert, but open to meeting new people. And couple of challenges that he faces, like ghosting, awkward conversations, unclear intention of others. Like, so this is a little bit of a personification of his profile, so that we understand, for which type of users we are trying to solve that problem. And when we do our discovery, we can do a quick matching of the problem statement. Okay, for this, target segment, I think these problems are matching, and remaining problems, if not matching, could be important. We can discard it or probably put it in the backlog, right? Okay, now I've created a short customer journey map. Like this could be quite extended, but just to understand and help you get the vibe of okay, one second, how to put it on, 1 second, I'm just 11. Okay, 1 second. Okay, all right, yeah, cool. So if you look into, right, ideally, okay, what happened? Yeah, this is like, let me just give me 1 second. I think that okay, it's better now. All right, so if you look into, there are 3-step user journey, which looks like, there's be a pre-match engagement user would be doing. Like within pre-match, the user would be doing onboarding, right? And then they would be also becoming the I would say part of activation and engagement flow, right? And all of it, like generally I've clubbed it under pre-match stage. And then after pre-match, then there will be probably a match stage, right? And within match stage, I've created this user journey across a couple of pointers. One is like at each stage, like what actions does the user take, what are the touch points, and probably what are the expectations that users have, right? And what challenges that they're facing, right? So I've not added too many challenges here because this stage is something which we are not acting upon. We are acting as a product manager in this specific vertical, right? And then these are like, the last bit is like opportunities, like within this specific vertical, what are the kind of short-term growth levers, long-term growth levers. You can also mention it, or you can also mention probably your strategical goal that your company has assigned you, right? So we are not going to act on it, but I'll just quickly explain you. From an emotion point of view, right? So when someone is like, let's say, there's a user called, of course, Himanshu is something we were talking about, right? So let's say Himanshu wants to find a date, and Himanshu's friend, like Naman, has told, hey, you can go and download this app called Tinder, and it's super amazing. It'll help you meet new people in your area. And Himanshu is quite excited, and he's like, when he's doing the onboarding, he's like in completely new world, like, because he has a lot of hopes from the apps and all. That's why his emotions like are on like Mars, or yeah, are the world. And of course, once he joins in, then pre-match to matching stage, like his emotions could be up and down, wherein he might not be getting someone, he might get frustrated, and all those things will be there. Since I said this is more of a consolidated user journey of I would say bigger charters, right? But let's say if he got the match, like, then he's super happy. Oh, now I'm about to kind of meet the date of my expectations, or I don't know how to put it better. But yeah, once he gets the match, he's super happy, right? And then from this to this, and this is happening, and we have to change this like emoji to probably this or this, right? So this is journey we are into, wherein we don't want his experience or similar users experience as in not happy, or because if they are going ahead or closing the application with this expression, they might not advocate about this product, just like the way probably Naman has done to Himanshu, if he's not happy, he would not advocate about the product, or he would not refer the product to someone else, right? So that is what the goal is we are up to, wherein we would want to solve this problem, right? Awesome. And we are trying to solve it for Himanshu. I hope this is clear to everyone. If any question is there, I'm happy to take a question before moving forward. Yeah. Any questions before we move forward? Yeah, I'll share the Miro board link. You can duplicate it after signing in. I think there's a way to share it. Probably I'll have to check with the team. They'll share it along with the feedback form, right, to all the folks. So we'll share it right now. Let me do the hands-on, and you guys can follow along. Okay. Any questions from anyone? If not, then you can give me a quick thumbs up, and then we can move ahead. I will just again request if you can, folks can turn on your cameras. Just make the session a little bit more engaging. Awesome. Yeah. Go ahead. I think you've raised hand. Someone raised hand. No queries. We're good to go. Right. And this is where we are. Right. Post match actions. What user would do? They would open the app again and again, and they would again go and click on that specific person who he has probably got the match against, and the touch points is going to be that specific feature when they can say all the matches, right? And yeah, and this is where we can start writing pain points, but then we would have multiple pain points, so we'll start writing here, right? Now anyone who wants to, like, let's have an open discussion, who wants to talk about or who wants to share their journey, or what could be the potential reasons because of which users are not responding to each other despite liking each other. So what could be the potential reasons for that? And then I'm going to use Claude as a product to do a discovery as well. So all right, 1 second, I am pulling it up here. Cool. Claude. Okay, anyone who wants to discuss with me, and let's make it a little bit engaging, you can raise hand. Happy to discuss. Anyone? Guys, if you want to be a product manager, you have to be at the forefront, like you don't have to shy, right? It's okay if your answer is wrong, like no one really is going to remember it, and it's okay. We all can make mistakes, right? Right. And trust me, in product management there's a luxury, right? Everything has an opinion and a rational. So if you can justify it, that could be your version of true story, right? Hey Jaya, Jayalal, thanks for raising your hand. Like let's hear your story. Like what do you think, why these drop offs are happening?
Hi, this is Purnima.
Hey Pony.
So Yeah. So the basic thing first I feel is the user experience, right? While using the app. So that should be the user friendly, and also the
No,
number
no,
of.
no. We have to be stick. We have to stick to that charter. Like we have to be at a stage like that. The match has happened, right? And
Okay,
we are
okay.
not at we are not talking about the entire user journey, right? Because that's
Mhm.
like work of like there might be 30 teams working, 30 PMs working on those many features, right? But we are
Mm.
specifically right now at a broad level talking about that specific problem statement in post match charter.
Okay. So maybe after they chat for a few times, they realize that this is a fake profile, and maybe the interests are not matching and all that. So maybe the drop happens.
Interesting, makes sense. Could be a possible reason, like because there are a lot of fake profiles, like have also come in. While I was building this case, I was doing my research as well. Then yeah, the fake profile looks like one of the decent reason in terms of result increase in this drop off, because users might not be trusting. Awesome. And I can invite now like Bala Subramanian.
Hey, hi. Yeah, so I was thinking like maybe like life is so fast, so they might have
Yeah.
felt like they are alone today and they want a match and they want to talk, but then
Yeah.
they got
Mood.
busy and then yeah, mood changes and then they
Yeah.
are like busy, or they found someone in person very close to them nearby
Could be.
and they yeah.
Could be possibility, right? So yeah, I'll invite I think two more folks, because I really want to appreciate your effort of discussing it with us. So Alauddin, and folks who have discussed, you can lower your hand. Yeah. Alauddin, what are your thoughts? Okay, I think he's not able to unmute himself. Sachin?
Audible?
Hello.
Yeah, Sachin.
Yeah. So
So,
like unlike boys, girls get
speaking in the mute.
more yeah, the match, right? So their inbox is flooded with guys messaging them, right? So this could be one situation where they lose interest with someone and got involved with someone else,
You
or they
really
are
putting yourself in the other person's shoes. That is great. That's
yeah.
what like differentiate a PM. Like we have to go into the shoes of the customers and understand the overall picture. Thanks, Sachin. Thanks for putting it out. Awesome, Madhurima.
Hey, hi. So, one of the reasons, not just for Tinder, but other apps, I also experienced that there
No,
is
we are
this
talking about
option
Tinder
of,
only. Tinder. We have to
okay,
stick to the topic. Yeah.
uh, okay. So this happens a lot that there is this option of endless swiping, and there is overload of choices that even after the matches has been made, maybe there are multiple matches, and the person, suppose they put a message to the first person and to the second person, and they instantly then loses interest because there are too many persons messaging them, and they lose the interest and a lack of follow up. That
Okay, I think
happens a lot.
we have a lot of interesting insights, right? So guys, see, while we are acting as a product manager, just like we've got almost 20 plus insights, like 5 and 4 of you have talked about, many of you have written in the chat, right? There are so many insights that you get, right? But then there's a problem of, okay, what we prioritize and all, right? So what I'm going to do in this case, I have probably written my own prompts to do a better discovery, because I appreciate all your feedbacks, right? And when we are in a brainstorming room with other stakeholders, I think all of them are being pinned down on the board, right? So what I'm going to do right now is like I'm going to use like Claude, okay, and I'm going to look use a bunch of my prompts to do a discovery better, right? Because this is more about discovery, right? And then once I get these 5 points, and I'll go ahead and write in the Miro's board, because a lot of times like it's not necessary you start the discussion from fresh. You might go in the room with certain identifications or certain findings already on the board, right? So let's do that, right? I'm going to quickly look into where my prompt is. Okay, where was it? Okay, I have got it here, and then I will paste it here. Okay, I've pasted all the prompts here. It might not. Oh, yeah, this is my prompt. Looks like, okay, you're assisting a product manager at Tinder who's focused on tackling persistent problem like high rate of drop-offs after a successful match, right? So I've like defined it quite well. And if you look into the context, this task like and then I've also asked this like your research should cover these key areas frustrations and friction points, and identify critical drop-off moments, do a psychographic and motivation gap, kind of do that analysis as well. So my prompt was like too broad, because, and if you looked into this specific version of things, right, it has looked into these specific websites to come to this insights, right? So yeah, I definitely want to rely on like couple of insights that I'm getting from the session, right? But since we are doing a proper product management mock-up here, we definitely rely on some of the research which is already available, right? Now we have so much of this data, let this complete. And after discovery, like what is the next step is defining, like I have like asked my user research team to do a discovery, make an extensive document wherein we have a lot of insights from the market. Then as a product strategist, I might also have to drive insights or meaning from that discovery as well, right? So that is what we're going to do next. So my next prompt is going to be about that. You're a senior product strategist at a dating app, let's say call it Tinder, and to task with like defining the next wave of features which address this, right? And you have access to basically research on post-match behavioral friction, whatever you've done in the previous one, right? So it's just like follow up on that, right? So now what this specific prompt would do, it'll look into this all of my research. Yeah, this is something which will look into all of my research and accordingly would recommend what are the pain points, like what are the top 5 unmet needs, emerging trends that we can look into, right? And at the end, what we can yeah, so let it work. All right, yeah. I might share these prompts and Miro board as guides if the team would allow. So yeah, at least for the folks who will stay till end of the session, because we have to follow the entire process, right? Awesome. So yeah, these are like so many insights that we've got, right? And let's top 5 unmet needs. First is like rejection proof conversation initiation. So at least 95% of Gen Z using Hinge are fearful of rejection, and over half say worrying about rejections has held them back from pursuing potential relationships. So basically, what this is talking about is like they've had rejections in past, so they're not sure if they go ahead with it, they'll find someone that they're looking for. All right, and then conversation anxiety, as in how do you start the conversation? What if things go wrong? What if the conversation doesn't go further? What if it took me a lot of effort to get one match from at least Himanshu's persona perspective. He doesn't definitely want to make a wrong step because he's not sure like when he'll get the next match, right? So now this is like a lot of insights. I'll quickly ask you to, okay, I'll probably first tap it on the back. Awesome. Give me top 5 pain points identified. It already has, like, it's still a long list. Top 5 pain points. Okay. And that is something we would add in on a Miro board. Yeah. Still thinking. I'm just waiting. Okay. Top 5. Okay. Rejection paralysis after matching. Okay. Post-pandemic conversation anxiety. So I think I'm not going to write it exactly. I'll write it probably start and go ahead with what conversation anxiety, and what next is we look into, okay, not sure like if the conversations would result in meaningful discussions, like wherein what I simply mean by this is like you can have these conversations wherein both parties are like interested to talk to each other and might make plan to go out for a coffee or a movie, right? Okay, now let me look at third one, right? Intent and uncertainty, right? A lot of times it's not clear like what is the intent of the other user. So I'm just going to do a probably copy paste of that. Okay, once again, okay, it's like this. I'm going to quickly look into one more. Yeah, overwhelming choice leading to devaluation. So, okay, this is like not. Okay, I'm just quickly looking into the chat and look for one more problem statement. Okay, one minute. All right. Yeah. Okay, one is like a reply. Okay. The others. let's say female users missing to reply on time, like, because we're talking about Himanshu here, right? So that's why we have to write it up, right? So let's say these four pain points that we're talking about, right? And okay, let's talk about solutions. Anyone else wants me to add any further problem statement? I'm happy to add it here. Basically, you should be great at writing prompts as that detailed output. Yeah, we'll not go into prompting an AI thing. That's more of a topic. But yes, detailed prompt has to be there, right? I'm quickly looking for one more problem statement, which is like compatibility mismatch. I've taken it from Regina, who's written in the chat. I'll probably looks like this is like this, and this was looking like more of a common problem statement. And then over choice paradox, which is like I wanted to have 5 problem statements. Okay, so I have these problem statements. All right, now guys, I would want to invite 3 or 4 of you, wherein I would want to pick your brains as in if you're solving these problem statements, how would you go about solving these? So who's interested to have that discussion? All right, I have Anmol with me. Okay, apart from Anmol, who is here? Guys, I want to invite new folks. All right, in the meantime, I'll just copy these and put it. Okay. Finally, I'm working on these pain points. I'm writing one by one in my notebook. First is compatibility mismatch. Second is like because of previous rejections. Second point, right? Previous or let's say like there's a lot of effort which has gone into getting that first match. So definitely want to maximize the impact. All right, and now I'll go ahead and pick the 5th one, which was like over choice paradox. Okay, now I'll go ahead and I'll start with what like Anmol, you want to go ahead? So Anmol, and guys, please pick only one problem statement so that more folks gets an opportunity to share their thoughts. Like, Anmol, go ahead, pick one pain point and then try to recommend how would you go about solving this.
Yes, sure. So I would like to pick the second one. Not sure if the conversation would result in a meaningful discussion. So like people very often think a lot about like, will I waste my time conversing with this person, or will they judge me if I type this or that? So like we can give some incentive to them, like if they chat a lot or like they reply on time, so they will get this much more number of swipes or something else like in-app tokens.
You are taking it a little wrong, Anmol. See, when two people are conversing, right? Or let's say let's take my and Ria's case, right? So I would not at that moment think about whether I'll get swipes and all. I literally give a damn at that moment about that, right? I would definitely want to drive the meaningful conversation, and I would just not chat for the sake of chatting, because that is the problem statement. I want to be sure and I want to be confident whatever I'm writing next, that is something which will be taking the conversation probably ahead, right? It would not result in probably drop-offs, or I don't want any situation wherein Ria might feel awkward in probably initial instances. Hey, who this person is, why he's asking about these questions directly at first and all, right? So I don't want Ria to stereotype or have some opinion about me. Are you getting my point, right? It is not about driving platform engagement. Like here in this specific scenario, the values that we're talking about are totally different, right? But thanks, Anmol. I'll probably go to the next person. I'll go for Anirudh. Yeah, Anirudh. Think about it. I really appreciate, like, it's all about brainstorming and discussion. So go ahead, Anirudh.
Oh, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, I thought that perhaps if I want to pick
one, go ahead.
Yeah, I might pick
you have to pick one.
Yeah, I might pick the compatibility mismatch as the prompt statement. So from what I understand, this is a post-match site, right? So like you're like doing this after they are matching and after they are speaking. So I think that after they speak, they realize that they're not compatible with each other. So I feel that one thing that we could do is perhaps like to use AI as some form of way to really generate like a compatibility generator once they are like to suggest like icebreakers or prompts based on their current conversation, so as to generate like ideas forward on how they can bring the conversation forward. So it's like bring that conversation that's virtual into like the real world, something like that.
Makes sense. So basically, you're trying to recommend, and you're trying to say that we should change, how the recommendation engine works in the previous steps, right? Or we have meaningful information about a specific user so that we understand, okay, what are they expecting, and is that something you meant, Anirudh?
I mean that is if you're transitioning into the pre-match area, but I thought of it as more of a post-match thing. So basically something like, since they have like an initial conversation to determine whether if they're compatible or not. So like maybe it's not really the fact that they are not compatible with each other. It could be more like they haven't really conversed enough to realize that they are compatible with each other.
Okay.
So I thought maybe it could be like additional prompt generator, like an AI tool working in the
Got it.
background to understand their convo and drive it forward.
There could be two scenarios, right? First is like the literal compatibility mismatch, right, wherein two users are not quite compatible. Okay, wherein we might think about making some recommendation engine changes. Third one is like the other user, or it could be even Himanshu as well, or Ria as well, right? They might be probably judging a person too soon, right? Or probably they should give more time to a person before making that, like, is that something you recommend?
Yeah, so I thought basically like they should be able to carry the conversation forward a while more before deciding that they are not compatible, because sometimes like people tend to jump to conclusions and decide that they are not compatible very early on, but you should at least wait for a while and do a bit of convo before you get to the conclusion. So this is supposed to like delay that. Yeah.
Makes sense. So in the interest of time, I'm just writing one on the screen, but I really appreciate Anirudh, putting your thoughts into words. Awesome. Now I'll invite Regina. Yeah, Regina, I think I picked one of your problem statements. So yeah, thanks for raising your hand. Please go ahead.
Hi.
Which one was
Can
this
you hear
one?
me?
Right? Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, welcome first for picking that up. Okay, I was thinking about compatibility mismatch. Why? Because see, matches happen already in the Tinder itself, after which a partner has been set with the other one. So I feel like many a times when you discuss with the other person, many things pop up, and then you really see what likes and dislikes are. So I feel like, let's say Himanshu has been matched with Ria, right? So let's say, obviously, Tinder might have all the options wherein Himanshu can see all the Ria's passion and interest in her life. Let's say, let's say Ria's profile says she's interested in cooking and sports and politics, 3, 4 other things. Okay, but we don't know about Himanshu. Like, how much compatible is Himanshu with her passion in her life? So I feel like the solution that we can make here is an option, so that an option in the Tinder itself, wherein Himanshu can give his feedback on the scale of 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, how much he supports. Even if he don't like, let's say he don't like cooking, but he supports, and he will be, when, let's say they plan for an outing and cooking something, and he will be supporting Ria, even though he don't know how to cook anything, but he, on the scale of 1 to 10, he is promising that he...
Like a little bit cut short in the interest of time, but Regina, makes sense, right? Yeah. All right. So now
Yeah,
I'll have
just to see, because what happens is if Priya already knows what likes,
Understood.
how much Himanshu supports me, then the
Yeah.
compatibility, more of the compatibility is matched on there itself before
Okay.
moving to a face-to-face conversation.
Got it. I think thank you, Regina. I think thanks for putting it into the picture, as in your thoughts as well, right? Guys, in the interest of time, I really appreciate the discussion, right? But I have also, thought of a couple of solutions for each, problem statement. Of course, you don't have to agree with my way of solving these problem statements. They could be totally wrong. They could be, probably you might have probably more than one solution of each problem statement. All those things are possible, right? Because how you solve that problem statement versus how I'm solving as a product manager, it would depend on what my experiences or what data I have at my hand, right? So probably to take this case discussion forward, right? I think the first problem, compatibility mismatch, and we're trying to take it from post-match stage, right? So what we can talk about is like, we can probably have shared, instead of this, we can have like shared topic discussion, right? So we can create, a solution which looks into both the profiles and then try to, uh, you know, uh, share common topics, questions to start the discussions, right? So that could be one way to solve compatibility mismatch, wherein these folks would, uh, I would say, have reduced friction in starting the conversation, because it's about more of a common topic, and both the folks would be quite comfortable and discussing and having that conversation started. Plus it could be a little low effort as well. Awesome. I think the second is like uncertainty about meaningful conversation. So in this case, we can have probably prompt-based first message generator, right? So let's say probably AI conversation initiator, right? In this case, right? So what this AI does is like, wherein this AI is acting as like dating expert, right? And this AI has access to both the profile, both the profile data in terms of, okay, what their interests and hobbies and what other details are present there, right? And based on that, it takes the best bet out there, right? So the chances of, let's say, getting failed will still be there, but it'll be relatively less, because this AI is going to act on the lot of data, right? Awesome. Now what we're going to do is like, we can now that we let's move to the third problem statement, I think, which was female. Okay, this one was intent uncertainty creating hesitations. Okay, so how can we probably solve it? Is like, after matching, like both users pick up, you can have a tag on your profile that, hey, you are here for a chat or friend, like just to become a friend, or looking for a meet, or you are for casual engagement, right? So you can have those tags on your profiles, right? So we can say that Tinder can make tags addition mandatory, right? So that it's just quite clear. If even if it's not mandatory, I think if you're making your intent clear, then the chances of conversations, and if the intent has been already added by the user, then there's a lot of possibility that both the users, or the recommendation engine would be only meeting the folks who would have intent, right? All right, so yeah, and then let's look at the fourth problem statement: female users missing to reply time. So I think here we can have reminder nudges. So reminder nudges. Okay, folks, just give me 1 second. I think someone's at the door, so I'll quickly attend the guest. I think just give me 10 seconds. All right. Okay. So, folks, I think we were at the fourth solution, right? Over choice paradox, right? So what we can do in this, we can probably, based on like previous interest, previous engagements, pick X number of profiles to start interaction. So basically, don't share too many profiles at once, like, but only share the folks who would have better interest, or there's a better way to kind of take the conversation forward, or there are good chances that that person would be compatible, right? So there are a couple of things that we can do. Of course, these solutions are just hypothetical way of solving it and taking the case forward, right? And now what we're going to do is like, we're going to use a value effort framework. Like, this is here, I've just created a template in Miro. So what we're going to do is like, we're going to see that how much value a specific feature is going to create, and how much effort it is going to pick it. So you have to basically use your product sense and do a t-shirt sizing of the features, basically at a high level. How much time would it take for you to develop and launch that feature? And don't consider right now the AI development, because Because I'm not sure many of you understand it, like how AI development really works. Yes, it works on prompts, right? But there's a lot more to it, like the front end, the front end, back end, and scaling it up and all, right? But let's understand. Let's do a high level kind of a t-shirt sizing of this. I'm just trying to, I don't know how to put all of it in one screen, but I'll do one thing. I'll just probably select this. Okay, it's not working like that. I'll probably select all, and then I'll put like this, and I'll put all of it in one frame so that you can tell or write in the chat which of these features you're going to put it in, which of the quadrant, right? I think it's only one quadrant, right? But yeah, I think this is, you can divide it like this. But anyway, so you have to put it like, which of these features like are low impact and low effort. Impact is something you have to measure on the basis of the goal that you're trying to meet. And here in terms of like, you want to improve user experience, right? So take a minute, right? Think about it. How would you, yeah. All right, let's take a minute to just understand how much time it'll take for you to build that feature, and how strong the impact could be on the goal that you're trying to meet. Anyone wants to have a conversation, have any questions after this prioritization exercise? We're going to wait for 5 minutes, and then we can take that questioning. All right, now let me look into the chat. Okay. Shared topic discussion could be quick wins. All right. AI conversation initiators, big bets. Let's look into the framework, right? And big bets are something which is like high impact and high effort. For sure, AI conversation initiator is not a high effort. With the way AI has come in, I think it'll be relatively low effort. So that is something you can put in, like definitely high impact, but low effort could be quick wins, or you can call this a low hanging fruit. Yeah. And then shared topic discussion. Yeah, it could be low effort. Sorry, this could be low effort and high, and I think these two could go into this one, right? So I'll probably put it here, put AI conversation here, and I'll just put it as one. Okay. And now what we're going to do is shared topic is going to come here. I'm going to put reminder nudges. Like, see, identifying a date is very high intent, right? And if you found a match, still you're not acting, right? There could be a chance that you definitely don't want to pursue it, right? Just because giving a reminder would only solve the problem if users are not reverting just because they're forgetting it, right? But knowing that the intent is going to be looking for date is going to be a probably high impact a decision in someone's life. So I'm not going to fully rely on this like forgetting problem statement. So that's why I'm saying that definitely it's a low effort, but it might still look into what to call it, low impact as well, right? Because we have to probably dig a little bit more in terms of why the other users doesn't respond, right? So that part, like going into the depth of why of that specific problem statement, we can definitely look into that. Awesome. Reminder nudges, and what was next? Can mix. Tag addition is something which can also I think this is something which will, of course, low impact, a lot of things would come in. I would want you to think about like how many features, like one feature missing, which was the one, this one, over choice paradox, right? What do you think if we solve it this way? Like this could be very easy way of solving, but not sure how would it help, right? value daily curated match, but the effort is going to be medium. So see, the feature that is missing, like which is like daily curated match limit, it is excellent for improving quality over quality. Improving quality over quantity behavior, but it could impact like more probably core swiping habit, or it might need more controlled rollout to avoid backlash, because some users might not like you are suddenly restricting them to not connect with the users that they've liked, right? So we can still put it. Effort point of view, it's again would not be too much. So I think the fourth one, I'm just also putting it here. All right. So let's say curated list, right? So yeah, looks like we have all the features. Like, see, folks, this specific framework, like the value effort or Moscow or Kano, right? They are great if you want to do a high level prioritization, right? But if you have the data, right, if you really want to kind of pick one feature out of others, you can use Rise framework, because you can really quantify how much actual effort that feature is going to take, how many users it is going to impact, how confident you are in terms of solving that problem statement. So but instead, let's say right now we have the bandwidth of solving these problem statements. Now what we're going to do is like we're going to write a kind of we're going to write Jira stories of these, right? Now, in the interest of time, I'm going to take a and I understand like we've been into this discussion for like 15 minutes or so, right? Now let's take a pause. Let's take a Q&A, and if anyone has any questions, let's take that, and then we move forward. Yeah. Anyone has questions? Picks X number of nudges. Okay. Avoid. Yeah, you can do that. One more thing I was thinking, probably which could be big bad, like chat has happened, right? And before even AI has conversed on your behalf before you even got to know that, okay, you have to talk to this person, right? So that all that compatibility match could be solved. But creating a AI chatbot which is probably going to talk on your behalf might require training it in with lot of data, with lot of conversations, so that this AI understand how to drive those discussions based on a specific profile intent, right? This could be wherever we are building an AI solution which requires a lot of training and all, that could be a high effort task, and if it is solving a good problem, then we can put it in the big bets as well, right? So folks, we don't have any questions, right? Now what we do is like we're going to look into one of the features. Like I think which one you want to pick one of the feature from here, and then we're going to write the user stories of that. Yeah, you can write in the chat. If anyone has any questions, you can raise hand and we can have a quick discussion. Shared topic conversation. Okay, Suraj, you have a question?
It's kind of a philosophical gray area kind of question, right? Let's assume that we have identified all of these features, and it's basically a choice between something that that aligns with the products or the company's value, but takes a long time, and something that will take a very less time but doesn't necessarily align with the value or is not in the similar direction. Like what would your choice be in that case?
Sorry,
does my question make sense?
I didn't quite understand your question. So you were saying that you can move in the direction, but there is also friction there. And if you're moving in this direction, there's also friction there. Then what would you do? Right? You take best bad, like, yeah. Go ahead.
What I'm trying to articulate is, let's assume that it's kind of a high impact. It's kind of a high impact outcome, but
Okay.
it will also take a lot of effort and time. Right? Versus something that takes considerably less impact, considerably less time, but also is not necessarily in the direction that the company has professed that it wants to go in.
See, first of all, why would you pick anything that it doesn't matter. It's a less impact or a more impact. If it is not in the direction that the company wants to go, how does it matter for you, right?
Because that is what the customers want, right? This whole thing
You have to take that strategic bet.
is because the customers have stated.
Right. See, you have to take that strategic bet when you are like, do you want to pick everything that the customer wants? Like, and that's why there's a that's the exercise that we have done about prioritization, right? Wherein we look into whether the customer problems are something which is aligning with the business goal or not, because you have those resources working for you, and definitely you want to maximize the impact, because you're paying them, right? And there's a lot of cost involved there, right? You definitely want to maximize the impact, right? So if you have very hard situation, but even in that situation, why would you go ahead and do it anything for free until it is part of your strategic bets? One of those scenarios could be freemium models, right? Although a lot of users can use these products for free, that is something which is resulting in a lot of cost for the companies to bear, but they're still making a call to make it like freemium, because that is something which will drive future habits to, let's say, making them a paid customer, right? So until it's part of your strategical bet, right, it's not aligning with the company, then it doesn't like make sense. You should not do it. There's no point in doing it until there's really a sense or a goal that you want to deliver. Awesome.
Fair enough. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. I think now let's go ahead. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Jira. Just give me 1 second, folks. I'm quickly finishing sign up on Jira. Okay. Right, I'm here. Project settings. Okay. Just 1 second. I'm just sharing my screen. All right, I'm here. Okay. So I'll delete this. So when you will kind of complete the sign up on Jira. So yeah, as I said, this is not probably a session wherein we do a detailed dig deep into Jira, like what all you can do and all. But I'll just quickly help you understand. We're going to put everything in the backlog right now, right? So you might land on, let's say, on this board like this. Okay, I'll just say ABCD right now, fill it in the. So when you will complete your sign up on Jira, this is how okay, you would land onto this, right? Cool. So this is like what your sprint one would look like, and it's up to you, like whether this is the sprint which is ongoing, you want to put that feature into it. Ideally, we don't put features into the ongoing sprints. We to put it into the future sprints until it's super critical, right? We do take that call. And this is the backlog, and this is where you'll see that, okay, all the things that is in your pipeline, you want to do it, right? So what we'll do first, like we'll create a backlog items here. So I'll go and create a feature here. This is something a symbol of a feature, right? And okay, 1 second. Okay, I was here. Okay, this is something is a symbol of a feature. And if you want to add a task, you can also add a task, and you can also add a bug, right? But let's say you want to add a feature now. So we'll quickly add it, like any one feature. Let's do, because we are also running less on time, right? So any one feature you want to pick from this Miro board, and let's start the user story for that. Anyone wants to write the use case or user story for any of this specific feature? Okay, many of the folks are talking about shared topic discussion, right? So who wants to write this user story for that? And please do write with acceptance criteria as well. So acceptance criteria, just to explain it at a high level. So when you are asking your tech team to build that feature, you're also kind of telling the QA that don't accept the build until unless the final feature is doing this, right? So those are the parameters using which you ensure that, okay, whatever I was accepting from this feature, it's doing exactly as per the expectations, right? And if your feature is meeting all the acceptance criteria, that's where you pass it to the next stage, right? Okay, so let's take a minute. I'm sure you might be writing your user stories for shared topic, a discussion, and then we go ahead and take it further. All right, I'm waiting for your answers. Hi, you might have already answered this question, but I just want to know, why is AI conversation on low effort? Why it is on low effort? It depends, Tarun, on how we are building it, right? If we are just simply hitting probably a GPT API to get the answer, right? That's probably a low effort, right? But if you're trying to build your own AI solution, wherein you're training it on your own data, you're building your own dating GPT, right? That could be a I would say heavy effort or high effort. Right? It depends on the solution, right? What the solution is around. Could something like this AI conversation initially be created using vibe coding tools? You can do it, but it would not work, right? It'll just give you interface. Vibe coding tools is like nothing in AI. Trust me, guys. They're just giving you wrappers, right? But for your wrappers to work, you need to have the brains behind it, right? You can definitely do a little bit of a hard coding. You can have rule-based front ends wherein they are acting on a certain situations in a certain specific way, but they might not be well tailored for, I would say, a full-fledged or a working product which could be made live in the market, right? Okay, folks, I've already written that story. I'm just waiting for you to write it in the chat. I'll quickly go ahead for and write. Okay, so I'll create. Okay, I'll give a shared feature name as shared topic discussion. Okay, this is my feature is ready. What I'll do is like I'll click on this. Okay, why this is calling as sprint 4? Okay, because I have done a little bit of testing earlier. Okay, this is anyway what yeah, backlog item. All right, so in this backlog item, what I have to do is like I have to write the what my feature is and everything in this description part, right? So I've already had it in my notes, so I'll just quickly copy paste this. Just 1 second. Okay, as a user, I want to see what topics or interest I share with my match, so that I can break the ice more easily and avoid probably awkward intros, right? So this is looks like a user story for shared topic highlights. And in acceptance criteria, I can add where is it? 1 second. Yeah, where is it? Yeah, okay, I think the first acceptance criteria could be this. You can add acceptance criteria here, put it on bold. You can probably put the surface common interest, like when this feature is in a working mode, it should share the common interest topic, and these topics should ideally come from after analyzing like both the person's profile, right? And yeah, and this is like I can probably write that point as well, pull from onboarding. Okay, responses, I'll just write it here. Of course, there could be more acceptance criteria because we're not literally building it, but we are just probably. So this is what you have created in your right now. Simply, you've not assigned to anyone and all, right? You just created this feature as a backlog and your yeah, backlog, right? Yeah. And when you are in the sprint planning meetings, wherein you are discussing, okay, in the next sprint, what we need to do, wherein this is more of a road mapping discussions, wherein you take the call of, okay, we should go ahead and build this feature because we have, our numbers are not moving in the specific metrics, and we should do a quick deep dive discussion on that, right? Now, let's say for XYZ reason, this is the feature which got prioritized. What you do it is like you, let's say, drag this and you drop this into the upcoming sprint, right? Within the sprint, what you can do is like there are, of course, you can click here and then you can assign this feature. Let's say since this is just a simple story, right, that if you want to build, let's say, the end-to-end feature, right, so you can build a overall epic for it, and for each epic you can build mini features, and then you can share it with the designer. Then the designs would complete. Once the designs are ready, then you can share it with the development team to kind of start working on it, right? So you can do the probably assignment from here only. I think where it went. Okay, it just starts showing the comments and all. 1 second. Okay. Let me close this. Let me, okay, you can also do the assignment from here as well, right? It can look into the, okay, whoever is there, let's say, and look for Tarun. It's not on the team, that's why it's not showcasing, but I can invite Tarun, right? So this is how it happens. So you can, if you go to the homepage of this, oh, where is it? There was a complete dashboard. It shows like what's the progress going on. I don't know where it went. Once again, try it now. Okay, I'll show it to you in a moment. I think I'm not able to get it. Dashboard, where did it went for? Okay, into this. Yeah, it's here. So for a specific product, you can look into, okay, all the changes which is happening within a specific feature, how many features or running items at a specific stage, right? So this is more about, of course, I'm not going too much into the Jira, but this is how generally you do and follow a process of from product discovery to execution, right? And as I told that I would quickly mention about product board, wherein you can also do a road mapping. Road mapping is something you can also do in Jira. So let's say you identified this is one specific problem we wanted to solve, and there are, let's say, 5 other problems you're trying to solve, and then you try to map each problems against your KRA, right? And accordingly, you put those items in your roadmap. Okay, since I have to meet these numbers, like of course, not about always meeting the numbers. You might have to also have a synergy between what the pain points of the users are. Knowing all that is there, then you try to prioritize. Okay, for in the next 2 weeks, in the next 3 weeks, or in the next 1 month, I definitely have to prioritize this feature. Or we have to get this rolling, right? So that's how you go about it. You can have that exercise on your own.